So, Ollie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you on. Could you tell me a bit about yourself and a bit about your history up to this point?
Yep. So I'm a Norwich boy, as you can probably tell by my twang. Norwich born and bred. So I am. How old am I? I keep forgetting. I'm 39. It's a big 40 next year. But and I run a print company, a graphic design company. We do web design as well. Been doing that for 23 years, I think, off the top of my head. But
Definitely
once you get past 2 or 3, the numbers pale in significance, really. Yeah. We got kids, got stepdaughters, partner, live in Thetford. And yeah, generally
Big family then.
Big family, yeah. We had a big party on Saturday and there was carnage, people everywhere, kids everywhere. It was good. Love all that sort of stuff.
What made you choose a printing industry?
So when I was young, I never really had any idea what I wanted to do. No real ideas. You know, when you was at school, what do you want to do? I have no idea. No clue. But I quite liked creating stuff. I ended up going to sixth form just really because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Met a teacher there called Mr. Jakes. He's a legend. He sort of started showing me some art and creative stuff and sort of set off a light bulb in my brain and started to think, I could do that. Started to sort of design stuff for bands and my mates' bands and stuff like that. Sixth form didn't go too well because the school was Blige X, and if anyone knows Blige X, it's now demolished for a reason. But yeah, so then from there, sixth form came to an end. Got decent grades, but not enough to go to university. And I just decided to send out some letters to what I thought would be creative agencies. So this is the dark days, really, before email, before websites, before all this sort of stuff. So you had to literally write them out, pop them in the post, go through the yellow pages to find phone numbers and call them up to see if I could get a job anywhere. And I sent letters off to quite a few places, and one of them come back and said that they're looking for a junior graphic designer, which was Wensum Print. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, no software knowledge, no, like I said, the internet wasn't a thing, so you couldn't easily research. If you wanted to do a course, you had to go to college or sixth form, but my sixth form didn't actually have a computer, so I couldn't actually do that. It was all hand illustrated and hand drawn and hand created. So I turned up to the interview, no idea what I was doing, no idea what they were going to say. Managed to blag my way through the interview somehow. One of the designers there, Matt, who now works for us again under our leadership, managed to befriend him. I saw that he was listening to a band called the Manic Street Preachers, and I was like, I know a few of their songs. Let's engage him in conversation about, get my foot in the door, start talking to him about that. The interview happened. Matt was on the panel who was interviewing me, and he sort of prompted me to say, just say if you can do it, say you'll pick it up and you can learn it. Just said yes to everything, like the man from Del Monte. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I know that. I didn't have a clue. Managed to blab my way through the interview to the second interview. By that point, I managed to charm my way in, and first day, turned up, turned the computer on. Here's your design software. Here's your job. Off you go. I was like, Christ.
How did you find the transition from kind of non-technology to then started doing graphic design?
Learning curve.
Yeah.
Well, I think because I'm quite creative, I've got ideas, I can vision in my head. It's just figuring out how to implement that to a software that is transformable.
Yeah.
So I think starting at the bottom and working my way up has benefited me in the long run. I think if you go to university, you can press all the right buttons, do all the right things, because you're not really learn how it works to make it productive.
Yeah.
I think that was my main benefit, and I think that's one of my key strengths now, is that because I started from nowhere, no education really in this sort of sector, and I've learned everything on the way up. I know all the pitfalls, and it looks amazing, but it's not going to be practical if you try to print it like that. No. So it's just the experience and things like that. So the software I had to learn. I got some basic lessons off Matt in like, Matt, how'd you do this? He's like, all right, quickly, I'll show you now. Again, customers. So when I started, I did everything from front of house, greeting customers, taking in jobs, speaking to people. And because I didn't really know anything about it, I had to go find out the answers rather than know that you had them.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted something, I'd have to go ask the more experienced guys. Right, they said this, I don't know what it means, but can you show me how to do it? So it's to say like a die cut job where they cut it to a different shape or something like that. So I would go and I'd follow the experienced people around, just watch what they were doing, pick it up, figure out how it all works, and then implement that into what I designed and created. And so you sort of learn as you go and develop skills and knowledge that you can't really replace.
Did you ever think that you would end up owning Wensum Prints?
No. No. So my dad actually owns it. So the previous owner of Wensum Print, he'd been there for forever. So the company itself is 44 years old.
Really?
We missed our 40th birthday because of COVID. So, it was a bit of so waiting for the 45th to have a bit of a celebration. So yeah, by this point I had learned enough and progressed through the business. So I started off as a junior. I then did front of house. I did all the finishing and handling of the jobs and quoting jobs. So by the time the old owner wanted to retire, I was pretty much could do everything.
Ready to go, yeah.
My dad decided that he used to travel a lot, all the way around the country. He decided that he wanted to take redundancy, get some money, and he invested it into Wensum Print. And from there, we used to be in a converted terrace house. Don't know if you know, it's on Hyde Street on the corner near the Gibraltar Guns pub.
Not sure.
But you drive past it and you look at it and you think, Christ, how the hell did we fit everything in there? How do we operate a business from there for so long? But we managed to. We took over, started running it, made a few mistakes along the way, but again, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
You take your lessons and develop them from there. We're now in a big industrial unit, purpose built, bigger machines, bigger equipment, bigger customer base. So I think from some point where we must have done something right to keep growing as we are growing.
No, definitely. And in terms of the machinery and stuff, I'm going to guess it gets quite expensive quite quick.
Yeah.
How did you find the kind of step from reinvesting into the business on the new machinery instead of maybe reinvesting the money elsewhere or saving the money?
I think as technology grows, you have to grow with it.
Yeah.
I think our dynamic is quite balanced because my dad is quite old school.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to invest. I'm quite young and ambitious. I want to invest. So I have to sort of pitch to him, well, I think we should get this because that can do this and that will lead to that. And he's more grounded, so he'll look at it and say, yeah, okay, I can see that. Bit like, so we've got a new machine called the Iridesce, which can produce silver and gold ink, whereas before we'd have to, if you wanted silver and gold, you'd have to hand foil it,
Right.
which is a more labour-intensive way. So the silver and gold ink allows more cost-effective production, and it can be used for more dynamic things. So when you're designing, you can be more creative with it. So that was a sell. For that, for example, I saw the machine, liked it, had ideas for it. So, Dad, come, let's get this. So a couple of visits later, show him what it could do, get some samples knocked up, and then, yes, we invested in that. It's also the sustainability option of it. So it's a sustainable press. It's got a lot of de-inkability. So when you recycle paper, you need to get the print off of it. Whereas this machine is the best on the market to allow that to happen. So we like to be sustainable where we can and think about that type of thing rather than just how can we make money out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, technology is a big investment, but so are people as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about the machines.
I can imagine so. When you started out, I can imagine the industry was very different to what it is now.
Yeah.
How has it kind of evolved?
Again, I think it's technology and mentality. So when I first started, the internet wasn't a thing. So when we first started getting emails, we'd have to unplug the fax machine, plug the internet in, quickly go on your emails, reply to them as quick as you could, unplug it to put the fax in, because the fax would bring in more work than your emails.
Yeah.
So things like that. If you wanted to get an image, so if I wanted to say research who you were, I couldn't. The only way to do it would be to speak to you.
Yeah.
So it's more verbal and things took longer. But now as technology grows, you can click a button, you can do anything, you can make anything, you can find out information. So even delivery addresses, things like that. So sometimes we send so many jobs out that we need for different organizations who have multi locations. So before we'd have to phone someone out, they'd have to phone back and say, yeah, this one's going there, this one's going there. But now we Google it, have a look, sort it out, done, 3 seconds, not a problem.
So everything's kind of evolved into better efficiency for you.
Efficiency, yeah, and the ability to do more.
Yeah.
As people and businesses back in the day used to, leaflets and marketing was physical. Now it's physical and digital.
Yeah.
And because there's more of a digital market, the physical items need to be better and more engaging to have the same effect.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be a market for physical print. People like to be tactile. I think if I'm meeting someone, I'll always take a notebook. I'll always write it down. I won't take notes on my phone. I'd rather have the physical thing, so then I can skim through and physically look at it. Same with print, but I would say that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, bit biased.
I'd rather have a booklet that I could read than an ebook where you're skimming through it.
Yeah.
I think it's just tactile.
I think it's more personalised as well, almost.
Yeah.
You can see that the company have gone out their way to do that, where the ebook could be 4 years old. Well, a bit of paper, if that's on a billboard or something, that's going to be battered in 4 years. So so you know that they're kind of keeping on top.
I think it's just there's room for both. I think there's room for digital. We do digital. We do web design. We design some things that never go to print. They're just digital files that go onto a website or a e-graphic or an infographic for emails and stuff like that. So I think that's how we have evolved as well. We have an understanding of the old and an understanding of the new. So I think we're covering as many bases as we can. Yeah.
With AI kind of coming up now, do you see any ways where you can implement that, or have you not really looked too much into it?
Yeah. We actually experimented with it. We got some software. I'm sure you've probably seen our dodgy Taptap Boom videos that we made using AI. So we launched Taptap Boom in a quick flash to try to get it out there for a certain event. We did it. It went really well. We needed some promo videos and some promo bits.
Yeah.
And right, what's the quickest way we can do this? AI. We'll give it a go. We got the software. We sorted it out. We did it. I mean, it looks okay, but I think probably the technology isn't quite at the point where we can adapt it, but it's certainly something we look at. We create content for websites, so sometimes we use it for that. Images and stuff like that we have used it for. But again, it doesn't, at the minute, it's not as good and it's not as efficient as the personal touch.
Yeah. I saw on a news story that AI is predicted to take people's jobs, as a sense, and one of the main ones was a graphic designer. Do you think you'd ever switch over if it was more cost effective?
Yeah, but I love my guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I think half of the fun of I want to have a workplace where it's fun and it's engaging.
Yeah.
And it's more invest in people and they'll be happy and they'll create an environment, and a happy environment is productive. I think there's room for AI to expand and add to our arsenal what we can do, but I don't think we'd ever take the people out of the business, because the people are your business.
Yeah.
And I think personal relationships are the foundations of what we've built on so far. We have personal relationships with all of our customers. We like to speak to them about other stuff, not just work. We'll happily chat over a pint or a cuppa and see what you've got going on in your life, not just your work and life, and see where you're at. And you don't get that with AI. Well, you probably do, but
yeah, I think.
But you'd have your AI talking to my AI, and none of us would be any wiser.
No, exactly. I think AI probably needs a good 3 or 4 years worth of more development before anything, but it's definitely in the last year or two, it's definitely taken a massive. It is coming.
It's coming. I think it will be good. Same of, I think it's like you can imagine. Well, you probably can't imagine because you're quite young. I can remember before the internet and the emails and smartphones and all that, so I can remember that world. And it's going to be the same for you, where you can remember. I can remember before AI.
Yeah,
it's going to be a milestone.
Yeah, I do wish I was in school when AI was a thing, though. I just missed out on it because it looks like you could just type in a prompt or something or a brief and it would just churn it out.
Yeah, so my kids upstairs do their homework.
Yeah.
And you hear, "Hey Siri, what's this?" Turn Siri off, do it yourself.
Yeah, they do a 30-page essay of...
Oh no.
They do
Fail.
I don't even know if they might pick that up, but you should set Siri off. Yeah, because people can churn out like a 30-page essay in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah. That is the only concern, is you don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah, and if it will take the creativity away from people. Obviously, when you were younger, you kind of had to be creative because there wasn't this and that there, where if people have AI to do it for them, I don't know if their kind of graphic design skills and things like that may be as good as people before.
Yeah, I think as well, every designer has their own style.
Yeah.
So we have 3 designers in-house plus me. Each one of them, I can tell you who designed it. I can look at it and say, yeah, Matt done that one, Michaela done that one, Spencer done that one, just because that's their style. And if everyone has the same style, there's not really any creativity. It's
exactly.
Paint by numbers, but it depends on the technology, how it develops. I mean, who knows? It could be amazing and we're all retired, redundant, and
never know. It's the scariest part that you don't really know what's to come. But
no.
I think the people that aren't going to adapt to it and are closed off to AI are going to be left behind fairly quick. I listened to a couple podcasts from Stephen Bartlett, and he said, because he grew a massive social media agency kind of before it was coming up, so I think it was like 2010 kind of time, where it was kind of coming up, and the businesses that ignored social media marketing and the social media side of things had way less market share than the ones that did. So I think with the AI software, where companies are going to be able to cut costs a lot, well, obviously bigger companies with smaller companies like yourself, not that it's small, but in comparison to like Google and things like that, I think where they can cut costs, they can then undercut people and then gain more market share that way.
I think it's good to have room for everyone's going to have an opportunity, but like I agree, if you don't keep up, you're left behind.
Yeah, exactly.
We like to think that we keep up. I'm very aware that I'm getting older and I'm getting out of touch. So you have to invest in younger people who are more in touch with that sort of thing, and have new ideas and can implement the technology better than I can. You have to know your strengths and the strengths of who you employ.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned Taptap Boom earlier. Could you go a little bit more into depth what that is and how you came across that?
So Taptap Boom is our range of smart cards that we've now also added a line of signage and print. So in essence, it uses NFC technology, and it can be programmed to go anywhere online. Your social media, for example, or a product that you want to sell or a special offer. You program the card, tap it against an online smartphone, and the website will appear, or your social media will appear on screen. We got asked to do it by a customer. I can't divulge too much information as to why we were asked to do it, but it was quite exciting. We did it, tested it out, and thought, wow, this works. We had a card that we programmed to go to this website, tapped it against a phone, it come up. I was like, yeah, that is a game changer, really.
Yeah.
NFC technology has been around for a couple of years. It's been used. It's in your contactless card.
Yeah.
Entrance keys and stuff like that, but it's not really been utilised to network and connect and communicate, really.
So what would you say the aim of the card in your mindset is?
So originally, I thought about it from my personal use. So how would I use it? I go to networking events, you meet people, it's a bit of a whirlwind, you come out and you're like, I'm sure I just spoke to that person.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go catch up with them, follow up afterwards. And you look and you're like, go on their LinkedIn, it's like, I'm sure that's not the person I spoke to, but that's the right name. And I was like, let's connect, see what happens, see if it's him. And it's him, but his picture was from 20 years ago and his name.
Yeah, no beard, no.
Yeah. So it's a bit like that, and just remembering. And where's the card? You can go to the networking event, connect with them instantly, tap it on their phone. If they've got one, tap back, you're connected. And then you can develop your business relationship from there. So that was my initial, how I would use it. But then I started to play around with it. The guys in the studio were playing around with it as well. We started to show a couple of people, no, you could use this to sell products. If you've got a special offer in your restaurant and someone sit down and you want to see the menu, or direct them to the special offer, or download your app, you can just have a plaque, tap it, and it takes you direct to that. And someone else said, yeah, you could use it for dating. I was like, yeah, you could. I said, if I see a girl over there and I want to give her my number, I can just go up and give it to her.
Yeah.
It's like people don't communicate no more. They go out and everyone's on their phone. Everyone's glued to their screen. So it's a way to break the ice and a way to get their attention. I was like, sure, if you want to use it for that, go for it. And then my stepson has decided that, I want to put my Snapchat on it and share videos with my friends. And his friends have now bought them, or he's given them to him. I think he sold them for a small fee.
Little entrepreneur.
He's got a little side hustle on the guy. He's selling them to his friends, all his friends, and they got them, and they're snapping and YouTube. I don't even know, TikTok or whatever they do.
Yeah.
All the videos, their favourite videos, their photos, they're just tapping, going around.
It sounds like it's an endless kind of model as well.
Yes, I mean, we're only getting started, and then people are coming up to us asking, can it do this? And we look, and we can figure that out. We can make that work. We've just done some smart signage. So we exhibited at the B2B in Norwich a couple of weeks ago, and we want to make sustainability a key. We try to be as eco as possible. So we've created some smart signage where we use a rigid cardboard, laser cut it to shape, so it's 3D and it's built up, and insert the technology into the sign, so it's interactive. And when you're done with it, you can take the chip out and it can go straight in your home recycling bin. Blue, green, brown, whatever.
What was the response like at the B2B?
It was non-stop. It was really good.
Yeah.
We got some really good leads from it. Positive feedback. We've been invited to the Enterprise Awards in London next week, so we're off there to showcase to some big people.
That's
frantically
impressive.
behind the scenes, realised we've got a week left. I was like, right, we need to print some signs, we need to get this done, we need to just spend a little time and doing some stuff for us. When you're a business, your own, we think, right, we'll do that. And then sidetrack, job come in, right, and then before you know it,
that's
got days left, and
that's one thing
that
it's one thing we're struggling with at the minute. We're so focused on everyone else, and then it's like, wait, we need to get our own kind of social medias and websites and everything like that up to scratch to be able to kind of just furthermore present ourselves.
It is a juggling act, especially when you're first starting up, and we always put our clients first.
Yeah.
But sometimes you've got to dedicate a bit of time to yourself, step away from it. Even if it's not me, I'll carry on doing I'll give the designers, I was like, right, don't do any, just sit in the corner, do some work for us, do some marketing for us, design me this for us. You just got to take some time out, even when it's frantic. Otherwise, like you say, you don't keep up, you get left behind.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to build the brand.
Mm.
You said you went to the networking event and you've done a couple networking events here and there. What would you say is your best tip for networking?
Be social. Talk to people, have an open mind. I think talking is the key. People go there with the intent to sell, and if you go there to sell, you're going to speak to people, and I think you're just going to not engage. I think it's building a personal relationship, talk to them, understand them, and find out if they can help you, you can help them, and develop the relationship from there. I think communication is a great thing. So if you can communicate, that is a strength.
Yeah, I think the persona you bring to people is kind of the first and can be the last impression. If you go there thinking that you're the dog's bollocks.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people think that, and sometimes people are shy and timid. And
yeah,
I understand sometimes it can be daunting, and sometimes you're not in the mood, and sometimes you just ain't got time. But
yeah, I remember my first networked event was an event called Jenny, and I went there, and I think it's everyone below 30. So I thought, why not? I walk in there, and it's like a ant's nest. Like everyone's just everywhere. Everyone's so like switched on. It's like, well, it kind of takes you off guard, but I think putting yourself in that position where you can even just learn to communicate better is always beneficial in the long run.
Exactly, yeah. You never know where a conversation could lead. And if you don't have the conversation, you never get there.
Well, exactly. In terms of your kind of entrepreneurial journey, how did you find the transition into management?
It was really, I had no choice.
Yeah,
I had a business. You had to learn.
Yeah,
you had to get on with it, and just do the best you can. And over the course of it, you sort of pick up tips, realise what you shouldn't do, what you shouldn't worry about, what you should worry about, what's important, what is beneficial. And yeah, it was a bit of a learning curve. It still is. Always probably will be.
What tips would you give someone that's now kind of transitioning into the management role or want to go into a management role in the future?
I think you just need to know when to step back, because it can become overwhelming. So
yeah,
you're spinning plates, you're juggling this, you're doing that, you're trying to please this and produce this in time, and you'll burn out.
Yeah,
You'll burn out, you'll lose your focus. You just need to step away at some point. When I first started, I would work from 7 till 9 most nights, and that would be weekend, would be catching up with bits. Even now I still do it, but just not to the same extent. You've got to know a life balance. The jobs that are left you can do in the morning. The bits that you're better to do it when you're focused and you know what you're doing, rather than push yourself through and do it and you wake up in the morning and you're like, I forgot to do that. I forgot to change that bit. Because you aren't focused, you're worn out, you're trying to do too much. But also know yourself. I think you get questions, you get problems thrown at you. You have to solve them.
Yeah.
Best way to solve them is to know what you would do, figure it out for you. If this was me, I would do this. Have faith in yourself and stick to it.
Did you find it hard to kind of pass the trust off to employees? I know you said about the design styles and things like that. We spoke to a couple people kind of in the graphic design industry that are maybe at the step to scale up, but haven't taken the leap yet because they're worried, because almost like that's their baby kind of thing. How did you find that?
Yeah, challenge.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own style and everyone loves their own style.
Yeah.
But I'm the first to admit I haven't been to university, I haven't been trained. This is just self-taught.
Yeah.
So the guys come in and they're doing everything, all the fancy tricks, and I'm there. Right, straight, easy to the point, effective. But yeah, you just have to trust.
Yeah.
And proof is in the pudding. We have so many great feedbacks that this looks amazing, this looks great, and the guys just smash it out of the park every time. But yeah, initially it is a bit like Taptap Boom. It's like, so I come up with the idea, created the logo, created some branding, and then you're like, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. But
so you mentioned earlier about maintaining kind of a positive workspace. How do you implement that? And do you have any procedures or anything in place to kind of keep morale up?
Yeah, we have we're partners with Norfolk and Waveney Mind, so they support there if people need it. We also like to have fun. I mean, we're all going to be at work. We might as well make it an enjoyable experience rather than something that everyone's dreading. So we like to have fun. The guys always playing pranks on each other and doing random stuff that probably isn't repeatable on here. But just having a laugh, and we've got a great spirit and camaraderie. We have work events where we'll go out for a couple of drinks, or we produce a lot of football programs and things like that. So every now and again, we'll all go out, watch the game, take them somewhere, similar things. If we do print for an event, sometimes we get free tickets as a thank you. So we'll just give them to the guys, and if they want to go, they can go, like comedy nights and stuff like that. We do things at theatres we get invited to. So they get the perks of their hard work, really. They're the ones who do the work. So pass it on and let them enjoy it.
Would you say that increases their motivation as well?
Yeah, I think so. Hard to
say from your side, yeah.
I think
they might hate it, but
yeah, they're like, oh, I can't go to the bloody football again. But no, it's good. Everyone seems to be happy. Everyone gets on. Everyone has a laugh. I mean, it's not always that way. Sometimes you have people who rock the boat, and that's when you have to manage the situation for the greater good and the best of the team. Yeah, in general, we've been quite lucky. We had some great people. People move on, people arrive, but people tend to stay with us for a long period. And that must be a reason for that.
Yeah, it must be a good thing.
Other than the wages.
Yeah. How's your team approach innovation, especially in the kind of technology industry where it's constantly evolving?
I mean, I'm probably the main instigator in that. I'll see something and I'll call a meeting and say, right, this is what I want to do. Can we make it happen? We had a situation where we wanted to be more sustainable. So I was like, right, we can make our waste paper and our offcuts of paper. We can reuse that somehow and make it into something creative. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. So there's things like seeded paper you can get that you can print onto. You print onto it. When you're done, you plant it and it grows into wildflowers or poppies and stuff like that.
So they have the seeds embedded
in it? Seeds are in them, yeah, but there's only a certain print process that works on them.
Right.
If you use heat, that kills the seeds, and
things
like that. And certain inks aren't good for the environment. So it has to go through one of our digital presses, which uses ink made from soybeans. So we wanted to make it a sustainable product. So I went to the guards, right, we're going to get our waste paper, all the offcuts, all the bits that we would normally just recycle. We're going to double recycle it, make it into our own seeded paper. Okay. But they went away, 3 of them. They mainly Michaela. Shout out to Michaela. She made these screens. We mulched it all down. There was shredded paper absolutely everywhere. We tried it. A couple of them didn't really work. In the end, we got there. So we can now turn our waste paper into seeded paper that we've handmade ourselves and then offer it as anything that you need printed. So it's another recycle and eco.
Oh, that's quite cool. So you actually make the seeded paper in-house?
In-house, yeah. Yeah, there were seeds everywhere. There was paper everywhere, but we've mastered it now, and we're doing that just as, again, it's a bit different that no one wants to be sat at their computer all day, so we give them a bit more. They're all creative. They all love doing that sort of thing, so we get them doing all sorts of random stuff.
Would you say that is more cost-effective as well?
Probably not cost-effective.
No.
Because it takes so long to do. You won't believe how long it takes them to do. But it's a selling point for us. It's good for the environment. It's good for them to break up their day a bit, and it just feels good. It feels good to create something and be able to do it ourselves rather than having to rely on it being produced somewhere else.
Would you say you're quite a big believer of kind of being environmental?
Yeah, we try to. Print isn't always deemed as the most sustainable products, but
Yeah.
all of our materials and papers are included in the forest carbon scheme and have been for 10, 15 years. We've always had some sort of scheme on the go.
Yeah.
So basically we pay an extra surcharge on our material costs, which goes towards planting woods and forests around the UK. You can get recycled paper and all that sort of stuff, but we believe that this cuts down on the travel, transport, and just regenerates the woodlands and forests in the UK, not just further afield.
Do you think that other businesses would prefer to go to you because of that?
Yeah, I mean, everyone asks about it, but it's not always cost effective.
Yeah.
We try to make it as cost effective as we can. So the price of recycled paper is more than a standard paper. So it's not always an option to go for the recycled paper because budgets.
Yeah.
So we've visioned that the forest carbon scheme, everything we use has a sustainable option, even if it's not fully recycled. But we recycle all that paper anyway. So it just gives everyone the opportunity to be sustainable in their print.
What emerging trends and technologies are you most excited about in the printing industry, if there are?
I think AI is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But I say just need to see where that goes. And
Yeah.
how soon it can be implemented effectively. But also design trends. They're constantly changing. What people like and what is cool is always something different. There's always something, a design aesthetic that is in and out, and fonts are in and out, and so just keeping up with the trends really. Social media and stuff like that. But I think these NFC technology is going to be something that is going to be implemented across several sectors and can really benefit a lot of businesses.
Yeah, I think especially with the signage and things like that, everyone always has their phone on them, where they may not have the pocket to put a leaflet in, or they may not want to have to fold it up and then
Yeah, and it's instant.
Exactly.
So if you're looking at a car, you want to see the specs of that car, you can have a tap against the sign and it'll bring you up exactly the boot dimensions, the tyres, the additional extras you can get. But that could be implemented in anything. If you've got in a store and you want to, they haven't got your size jumper, tap on there and it takes you to the product online, and you can order it online or order it to the store. But there's so many different uses for it. It's
endless. Yeah.
It's endless, really.
What leadership qualities do you believe are crucial for success in today's kind of world?
Hunger is good, because I think people been doing this a while now, and you see people start up, they go hard and then they burn out. But to longevity and be able to do it for a period of years, you need to be hungry for it constantly. But also problem solving is probably about 60% of my day is solving problems and bits that last minute go wrong, aren't quite working correctly, need this done, but we can't do it that way, so we've got to figure out a different way. So problem solving and being able to think on your feet is a key strength. I was telling my daughter that the other day. She's saying, I can't do this, but you can figure out how to do it, and you solved it, and then you'll learn next how to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way, kind of, and you get more achievement out of it when you figure out a solution to a problem.
Exactly, yeah.
Rather than just kind of going on YouTube and be like, the answer.
Yeah. So nothing beats first-hand experience.
Yeah, exactly. For Wensum Prints, obviously, it's been going a fair while now. Where do you see it in another 5 or 10 years? Do you still see yourself in management, or would you like to take a step back? Or
I mean, ideally, I'd love to take a step back. But whether that's realistic is it's hard enough getting a weekend off. Step back. But yeah, I think we're growing. We've been growing constantly. Keeping up with technology and stuff like that. You just need to be on the ball. But yeah, I'd love to take a step back, but I don't think that's going to be realistic. At some point, my brother works there, so he's picking up bits and stuff like that. So we're building the team up, but it just takes time. There's no quick fix. There's no. People need time to learn, to evolve, and then as people evolve, I can drift off into the sunset and
Yeah, then
get bored.
Yeah, yeah, get bored and fat.
Yeah.
It's the best way. Do you have any plans for expansion with Wensum Prints?
Yeah. So we've moved 7 years ago to a new industrial unit, which is twice as big, but we've filled that up already. The machines get bigger, the staff force grows, we need more space. So at some point there is scope to bigger premises, more kit. We've got pretty much all the kit you can really get, but as technology grows, things improve, you get kit and that gets bigger. And as that gets bigger, then the one that's replacing will move down to replace. So it's always the smallest machine that ends up getting replaced. So you just end up with an array of huge machines that you have to try.
Yeah. Do you buy the machines outright or do you lease or
mix and match?
Yeah.
Some of them are bought outright.
Yeah.
Some of them are like a phone contract. So you get a big print press. You lease it for a period of time. As your lease comes to an end, there's another one, and you want the new one.
Yeah.
So you get rid of that one, and you get the new one, and it's just a constant, never-ending cycle of new machines that can do cool new things, and you're wowed by them. But they're all good. They get better every time.
Yeah.
And they're more economical, more sustainable, and you can do different things like the silver and gold inks, and clear ink, and white ink, and specialist finishes, and bigger sheets. There's all different permutations and evolutions.
So would you say it's kind of like a car in depreciation of the machines? So the ones that you've brought outright, do they go down in value a lot compared to when a new one comes out? Or
yeah, we tend to. We've got machines that we've had since they're probably built in the 60s.
Yeah,
they're reliable. They never break. They never go wrong. You look after them and they're good to go.
Yeah,
forever. So things like that, there's no real devaluation.
Yeah.
With the print presses, there is, just because the technology is old technology. But the same analogy as a phone. So you've got an old phone, it isn't worth the same as a new phone because the technology isn't as good. It's not as fast. It's not as efficient. So there is a devaluation, but we try to make them last as long as they can. And in general, they last and they've got a resale value. So we only upgrade to improve performance and efficiency. So yeah, there definitely is a devaluation, but nothing horrendous.
So someone that loves graphic design and that they want to get into print, what would you say the first steps are to get into print?
Understand the print process. We have people send us designs and artworks. Even agencies send us artwork, and it looks amazing, but it isn't set up quite right to print. So when we print it, it's not going to look as good as you want it to. So understand the print process. I was actually speaking to a student, I think it was yesterday. She wants to print a booklet. I was like, rather than us just print it for you, why don't you come in, you send us a file, you design it, come in, we'll show you what you've got, how it can be improved, show you how it's printed, show you how it's made into a booklet, and you can see the whole process. I think it's the education of the print process is, people just think it's done.
Yeah.
But things are too close to the edge, they're the wrong colour, they're the wrong colour palette, their font's too small, you can't read it, that the background is too dark for that dark text, things like that. Look amazing on screen, but then when you print them, it's not quite the same. So just understanding things like that and understanding the working environment.
How do you manage clients that want changes quite a lot to certain designs? Maybe you don't have that, but what we've found is clients have something in their head, and even if they give you free reign, they still have something in their head that they want to keep on tweaking. But obviously there's only so many times that you can do that before it doesn't, your ROI is just nothing.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
good communication to begin with.
Yeah.
Understanding your client and what they want. If they have a specific something in mind, I ask them to send us visual, if they've, even if just a hand sketch, just understand what they want to do with it. Quite often we advise, and so people have an idea in their head, but then if they want to market something, that's going to not really transfer as well as it could do. So we suggest improvements and edits and explain the reasons why we think this. Just educate and communicate is the key. But some people just like what they like.
Yeah.
And it's non-negotiable.
Yeah, and then
There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's entitled to what they want.
yeah, and if they're paying for it, I guess, then
Yeah, we're here to provide a service, and the service is for them, not for us.
yeah. With Taptap Boom, where do you see that in the next coming years? Especially with new technologies coming out as well, that kind of goes in line with that. So yeah, where do you see that progressing to?
Hopefully, big.
Yeah.
There's even just the feedback we've had from one exhibition has been really positive. So we've been invited to the Innovation Awards in Canary Wharf next week.
Really?
So we take that as a good sign that someone has walked past, picked up what we've done, liked what we've done, invited us to this event, and we're going to showcase it there, which could have unlimited possibilities.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. So we see that as something that could really take off and benefit everyone. It's cost effective. We can produce pretty much anything, and we can get creative with it as well. So it can be engaging and interactive and really useful.
If you could pick one client to have, one for the print or one for Taptap Boom, any client in this world, who would it be and why?
I think Spotify.
Yeah.
For Taptap Boom. I just have visions of, I love music. So if you've got, especially for people who are just starting out, put it on your Spotify, get your card, you're at a gig, you like of a similar genre, tap it on the thing, share your song, share your creativity. Yeah, so Spotify, I think that's where I'd like the dream to see them using that sort of thing. Print wise, anyone really. I'm a Norwich City fan, so I'll probably have to say some bits and pieces for them, just to say I've done it.
Yeah,
Get some kudos from all the boys.
Make him jealous.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Have you got any other new projects or ventures on the horizon that you're quite excited about?
At the moment, we're focusing on Christmas and Taptap Boom.
Yeah, I can imagine it's quite busy.
So really, there's not too much more that we can fit in. But who knows? Taptap Boom was born in a couple of weeks, so who knows what's going to come around the corner next.
Yeah, it could blow up overnight.
We do all sorts of stuff, so it's a fingerprint. We're always the last to hear about it, so it'll be, can you quickly do this? Can you do that? So we had one the other week. Can you do this for a doctor's surgery? Completely redesign, branding, signage, window decals, all that sort of stuff. Can you do it in 2 weeks? So drop everything you're doing, sort that out. And it's now being installed today, so you never really know what's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
So it could be anything, and it could take off and go anywhere.
What tips would you what tips would you give to a aspiring entrepreneur, kind of with the hustler's mindset?
Don't be too much of a hustler.
Yeah.
You sort of burn yourself out and you burn your bridges. But just commit to it. Go for it. Believe in yourself. And like I say, we see people come and go. We've been doing this for a long time. People burn out easily. If you keep going and you go too hard and too fast, you don't last. But yeah, go for it. If you've got an idea, a dream, something that you want to aspire to be, go for it and give it all you got. Commit to it. And don't hold back.
You said you used to work quite a lot. Do you regret working as much then?
No. I think it's where I learned most.
Yeah.
I think I was still working a lot, but I still had a social life and living and going out. And
So you had a
doing
good balance.
probably an unhealthy balance.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good fun. So be working straight out, go out. Some nights I'd wouldn't bother going home. I'd just go back to work, sleep on a stack of paper, wake up, go to work, and regret that.
Yeah,
Go back, didn't enjoy that one.
even with the paper.
Yeah.
In terms of your balance now, would you say you're a lot stricter?
I try to be.
Yeah.
Got kids, got family, got
Yeah.
other commitments, so just have to switch off. But it's hard with social media. Constantly, you can switch off from it, and then your phone buzz. I can guarantee you now, if I go on my phone, I got about 3 requests. Can you do this? Can you do that?
Yeah.
I had one at 6 o'clock this morning. You wake up to, you're like, can you do this for tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I'm not even dressed yet. But yeah, I can.
Still got bedhead.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a much better balance. But that is mainly down to having a good team where I can rely more, because we've got bigger, we've got better staff, better equipment, so you can take a bit more time out because other people can fill in for you and help you and support you and do their job.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Focus more, have some more confidence in yourself. I think it was a while before, when I was young, 20s, I wasn't really that mature. I wasn't really that balanced. I was not really focused. I was just doing what I was doing without really any direction. But then you sort of wake up a bit, realise, grow up a bit as well, settle down a bit. But I guess that's part of being young and having fun and doing stupid things.
Yeah, definitely.
It's life lessons that I learn and bits and pieces like that. You just look back and you think, what the hell was I doing? Christ.
Yeah, but sometimes they're the best moments.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I fractured my skull.
Really?
But you look back at that and you think, Christ, what an idiot.
Yeah.
And then, but then you look back, you think, yeah, I was an idiot. But then I learned from that, and that settled me down a bit, calmed me down a bit, and you sort of grow a bit from that. So things like that at the time are bad things, but bad things, there's a bad and there's a good to everything.
Yeah, I think, I completely agree. I think you learn from every situation, good or bad. In terms of a legacy, is that something that you're quite keen to kind of leave to your kids as such?
I like to think that they've already said that they want to carry on.
Yeah,
they decide, we're doing this because it's fun. Cause they come to work with me. They do all sorts of stuff. I get my kids. We do leaflet delivering. Like, want to earn some pocket money? Deliver some leaflets.
Child labour.
Yeah. They come. We do when they're off. They do signs. They come to events with me. So I try to get them involved because they're the reason you do it. Really, it's the reason you want them to have a good life and settle down. But you also want to educate them that this is how business works. This is a networking event, so you need to go actually speak to people. You can't just stand there being shy. You got to go speak to people, embrace them, talk to them. Just tell them about your day, what you like, what you don't like, anything. But legacy, I don't know. I don't know if I'm that worried about. I think when you're gone, you're gone. So there isn't really going to be much benefit for it to be. But as long as people smile and then look back, I think it's getting to the age now where people not elderly people start to pass on. Yeah. So you're like, it's on the horizon. It's like, as you get older, you sort of think about it a bit more. It's like, I am nearly 40. Shit.
But that isn't that old. Like,
it ain't that old. But when people of your age are starting to pass away, you're like, this
it's
does actually happen.
Scary, yeah.
It's not just a myth.
Yeah, I suppose
you think about it a bit more. But in terms of a legacy, I don't really think about that. I'm not.
Yeah, you're not too driven.
No, I'm not too worried about that. As long as everyone I know knows how I feel about them, knows what I think, and knows I did my best, that's really all you can do.
Right. Oli, thank you for coming on. And
thank you for having me.
Sharing a bit of light into your life up to this point.
Yeah, excuse the husky voice.
But yeah, it was nice hearing about Wensum Prints and Taptap Boom, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to quite a lot of things, and will find what you said useful.
Hopefully. Any questions? Anyone want to chat? Just hit me up. More than happy.
Plug.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.